Hey guys, it's Dan here from Table Tennis Daily, and today I'm joined by Tom to review the latest STIGA Dynasty Carbon blades. Now, they come in two versions. One is the Dynasty Carbon, and then the other is by Xu Xin. So this is a special edition blade developed by Xu Xin and STIGA. So the only difference between these two blades is that the Xu Xin edition has his signature on the surface and also his own lens that he's designed, whereas the Dynasty Carbon doesn't have that. So hardly any difference at all, but there's a nicer touch with the Xu Xin version. Interestingly, the lens has actually been designed by Xu Xin and his wife, who was a former national team player from China. And if you look at the lens here, you can see Xu Xin's pulling like a James Bond pose. It's got a love heart there and also his signature. It's quite a nice lens and a really good colour. So the Dynasty Carbon is a 7-ply blade with the outer ply being Koto, which is a hardwood, and then the inner layer using the Textreme Plus carbon. Now the Textreme Plus carbon, as stated by STIGA, is supposed to be more stable than the previous Textreme version, and it's also thinner. So the Dynasty blade does feel quite nice in the hand. If I take a Carbonado here, for example, the Carbonado does feel quite a bit thicker. And I know a lot of players in the past have said that it feels quite chunky, the handle on the Carbonado, whereas with the Dynasty, it feels a lot thinner in the main part here of the body of the handle. So from here, whereas this does feel quite a bit thicker. So a real good improvement here, I feel, with the Dynasty, and just that bit more comfortable to play with. So let's see how much the STIGA Dynasty blade weighs. Just get the old weighing scale. It's turned on first time, that's a first. Okay. 89 grams, it's good. Yeah, 89 grams. So it's pretty good weight for the Dynasty blade. Let's see what it is on the original normal Dynasty. So 91 grams, 90 grams, 91. So a touch heavier. So between the two, the average is 90 grams, so yeah, that's come at a really good weight. Okay guys, let's get into the action. Me and Tom both used the Genesis M rubbers on both sides of our blades, both using the Xu Xin edition, the Dynasty Carbon. Let's go. Before I started playing with the Xu Xin Dynasty, I was expecting a real carbon feel. However, this wasn't the case. My initial impression of the blade was that it felt much more like an all-wood blade when you contact the ball, yet still possessed the speed of a relatively quick carbon blade. This is a characteristic that the carbonated blade series has, but was more noticeable with the Xu Xin Dynasty. This can be either a good or bad thing, depending on whether you like a blade with more of a carbon or wood feeling.
I'm able to play that spin ball well as well, even when it comes low. Got quite a good feeling.
The brush
not
up
coming
well.
off too hard. I mean, it's a hard blade, don't get me wrong, but it has got feeling and dwell, a bit of softness as well. It's not too hard.
Definitely.
Originally I thought at the start, STIGA using Koto on the outer layer could be very hard and too stiff, but it's nice. Oh, I feel like Dimitri Otrov and Liam Pitchford here. Oh yeah!
I like the speed and medium arc of the blade. Although the Dynasty has a woody feel, the speed is just about right for me, in that I didn't need to make too many adjustments with my strokes in order for the ball to go onto the table. This may sound quite strange because this is a hard, fast carbon blade, but my favourite shot to play with this blade was active blocking, and especially on the backhand side. Here I honestly felt that whenever the ball made contact with the blade, I'd get the same response. This means that the margin for error during blocks is extremely high, which obviously gives you great confidence in your blade in this area of the game. One thing to point out with this blade is that it's quite hard and stiff. So using hard rubbers like the Genesis M, which we're both using here, makes things a bit tricky, as there's not a huge amount of forgiveness if you mistime your shot. Okay, so playing top spins against backspin, this blade was very nice. The blade's medium throw angle and high speed allow me to play hard and fast. What I will say, however, is that due to the stiffness of the blade, when using the hard rubbers, as we've mentioned, you have to be quite precise as you don't get a lot of dwell time. Using a softer rubber like a Tennis G05 FX, for example, would suit really well with this blade.
What? Got it! Guy's moving like Xu Xin in the 2004 Summer Olympics.
Okay, so in this area of the review, we did some short touches and flicks. Although the blade gives a woody feeling, the ball still comes off the back quickly in the short game due to its hardness, and because it is a carbon blade, it does still come off pretty quick.
You got to be quite soft with it, you're right. Too firm or too heavy-handed, and it does drift long. Very easy to make it drift long. And so that'll definitely take adjusting to if you're not used to a carbon blade. But I feel like once you do get that right, it's actually easier to touch because you're just less effort and you're just allowing, like you said, allowing the bat to do the work, nice and gentle with it. And if you're using a good quality rubber that's grippy, it's really good.
Like with open-ups, flicks were stable and strong, but again, quite direct, so it does require good brushing technique to get the consistency.
Yeah, spinny. Oh yeah!
Now let's move on to the area where this blade really shines, when you're in the rally and playing at mid-distance. You can really feel the large sweet spot of the blade come into its own here. Even if the ball doesn't quite hit the centre of the blade, you can still get the same quality contact on the ball. With some other carbon blades, you have to be quite precise in the rally, even when playing attacking shots. With the Dynasty, because it has that woody feel and high stability and control, in the rally you really do feel consistent and you know what you're getting from the blade when you play the shot.
What? That's illegal. That shot's banned.
Go! So there we have it, a look at the new Dynasty Carbon Xu Xin edition by STIGA. As mentioned throughout the review, the blade really does possess a woody feel. Now having a look at the carbon layer, it's very thin, so it makes sense why you get more of a woody feel on impact rather than a carbon feeling. Now this thin carbon layer does give you more stability and consistency in your shots, whereas blades with more carbon content give you more raw power but less control. We compared the Dynasty directly to the Carbonado series, the 145 in particular, and we found Dynasty to be a bit quicker, felt a bit more responsive and a bit more crisp, whereas the Carbonado felt a touch slower. Interestingly, STIGA do claim on their website that the Carbonado 145 is quicker than Dynasty, but I didn't really feel this and there wasn't a lot in it, but Dynasty did come out on top for us. So when it comes to the price of these Dynasty blades, the Xu Xin edition comes in at €275 and the Dynasty regular version comes in at €240. They are in fact STIGA's most expensive blades they have ever released, and it just comes in just behind the Butterfly Super ZLC series that we've reviewed in the past. I do have to say that the Dynasty carbon blades are the best blades I've used from STIGA, especially in their carbon range. I like the handle, like I've mentioned already, and the speed and the control. I definitely find them better than the Carbonado series. And okay, so if you are willing to pay that premium price point and like STIGA blades, then it definitely won't disappoint. So guys, let us know in the comments what you think of these new Dynasty blades. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and be sure to check out the TableTennis Daily Equipment Review Center on TableTennisDaily.com, where you can check out more reviews on this blade and many more. Thanks for watching.